Hey everyone, it's Duchess here with another Raids at the Legends video, and I'm super excited today because we got some amazing news. We got two events that are coming up this weekend, Friday the July 1st and Sunday July the 3rd, with major summons, guys. You're not gonna believe what they're doing, but probably keep it down low because they're probably gonna be doing a lot of these stuff for the next upcoming month. Now, let's get into and see what is happening. So, on July 1st, we're planning to launch a 10 times event to summon the following champions from Ancient Sacreds and Voids. I'm gonna start from the bottom. Doom Priest, Rector Drath, Godseeker Aniri, Gilcia Soul Guide, Ladykimmy, and Krisk the Ageless. Now, you all know how amazing these champions are and how really useful each and one of them is, but let's look at them separately. So let's go into Rector Drath first and have a look at her and what she can do and cannot do. Doompriest, sorry, and I said Rector Drath. Well, they're the same family, so we're not gonna go miles away. So let's start with Doompriest. Doompriest is an amazing champion. Cleanses every time on her turn any one debuff from all allies and heals by 7.5% of their HP and removes pretty much that debuff. She has only two abilities. She's an amazing supporter, but not a good damage dealer. She has an aura that gives force ally speed in all battles by 15%, making her useful in some situations. But more importantly, she's really vital if you want to do either Hydra clan boss, or if you want to do some setups like the one I already released with Helicath, or in many combinations about clan boss. She can be your main cleanser. In Doom Tower as well, she's a strong champion there. Anywhere you put her, she's a S tier champion for sure, okay? Next one coming up is Rector Drath. Amazing skill, amazing toolkit. Now, aura 55% ally resist in Doom Tower battles only. That's a little bit specific for that, so it kind of makes her a little bit favor towards that. But nope, not only. She places an ally with her Veil, with her A3 and with her A2, and revives a single ally with 60% HP and fills their turn meter by 60% and places a perfect Veil on them. So her main abilities, most important, is that she places a Veil across all champions, and we all know that Veil is also having a damage reduction on that champion, so the champions that are under a Veil get reduced damage. So having them under a Veil means they're untargetable and they receive a lot less damage than they will used to. On A1, she has a decreased attack, which can be fairly used, and whenever an ally under a Veil or perfect Veil gets a turn, they heal themselves by 10%. And they also have increased resistance by 50, so that makes her amazing for Hydra if you don't have Samael and you have to face the head that pretty much does the fears. That's an amazing choice. And it's not, there are only so few champions in the game that give Veil, and she's an epic, so it's kind of easier to get her. Now, the next thing in the line is Godseeker Aniri. Godseeker Aniri is an absolutely outstanding champion for any content that you place here. There she is, Void champion. She has heal on A1, heals the ally with the lowest HP by 5% of their max HP. Sadly, she doesn't heal herself, so you build here with a lot of defense. And because she's a defense-based champion, she actually ramps up through that. She's used in a lot of clan boss teams, but her main ability is pretty much everywhere. Not main ability. She's pretty much a multi-tool, okay? She's a multi-tool champion as the two others. Now, attacks all enemies on her A2 and extends the duration of any buff that you have. Now, if you're using, for example, Rector Drath and her, and you have them at the same team, you can extend the Veil of Rector Drath into lasting for 3 turns until Rector Drath picks up again her A2 ready to go. So you're always in a Veil. That's quite cool for Hydra purposes, that is. Now, if you're doing, let's say, a clan boss and you're doing, you want to extend shields or any buffs that you have, so you can also do that. She's used in many clan boss situations with Krisk specifically, and Grogny, for example. On her A3, she has a revive an ally with 50% HP and fill turn meter by 50%, but the most important thing that she does in that turn is that she reduces all their cooldowns. So they start with 0, so if you use something that you know that you're gonna die, for example, a scenario in Hydra, and you're about to die, you use your big skill, you die, Godseeker and Eerie revives you, boom, you got back your skills, all of them. Kinda like a Chimar free reset for just for that champion. And a passive effect that pretty much gives a flat 10% increase of the healing every ally is receiving. And whenever a champion is about to be killed, she prevents that and puts a revive on death. So pretty much he instantly resurrects. So that's kind of like her having 2 revives. Really cool champion. Next in line is Gilcia the Soul Guide. Now, I don't own that champion. I have seen a little bit videos about that champion, and I have seen a little bit about her skill. She was supposed to be the perfect kind of like anti-Torment, anti-Warlord champion, but she's nowhere near that. She has decent reviews, okay? She's, well, for defense and offense, that was the intention of her, but she's not what she was expected. On her A1, 30% chance booked up to 50 to place a freeze, and a debuff spread as long as that target has freeze. So that makes her pretty much dungeon material or arena material, not bosses material. Attacks all enemies, place at 25% weaken for 2 turns. That's a cool debuff, weaken, and steals 1 buff from random enemies under freeze. Again, arena and dungeons only. Place a block debuffs on all allies for 2 turns. That's useful. Booked up and booked down to 4 turns, and has a 80% chance of placing freeze debuff on all enemies. Dungeons, arena only. Fill this champion's turn and Doom Tower, okay, don't forget Doom Tower. Fill this champion's turn meter by 50% for each freeze debuff placed by this skill. Now, these champion skills cannot be put on cooldown. That was where the Warlord came in. Whenever an enemy tries to put either these champion skills or an ally skills on cooldown, place a freeze debuff on that enemy. Also has a 50% chance of denying the cooldown increase effect. The freeze debuff cannot be blocked or resisted. So pretty much if you try to CC here with a Warlord with A3 immediately, she's pretty much not gonna be taking that cooldown reduction, and she will freeze your Warlord if he's not in an immunity set. This is not working as intended, so that's why she's not the perfect anti-Warlord champion for that. Ally resist in all battles by 60%. She's fine. Now let's go into the more important champions of the first 2 days of the 10x summons. Number 1, Ladykimmy. I love that champion. Super fast base speed, 115 base speed, makes her really easy to gear up and make her the first one to go. Aura that gives 30% Doom Tower speed battles in Doom Tower battles. Sorry, that's kind of like, well, there are situations that you're gonna use that, but I would prefer if it was arena. If it was arena, it will be right there with Arbiter and Chimar. Although you can use her with an Arbiter or a Chimar, okay? There are situations to use both of them. Now, passive. Whenever this champion places a debuff on an enemy, decrease the turn meter of that enemy target by 5%. Whenever a champion or an ally receives a debuff, they get filled their turn meter by 5% of any debuff they take. So it kind of makes like you take damage or you take a debuff, you jump by 5% on your turn meter. That's a good cutter right there if you're lacking speed. Now, the main abilities that she has is this one and this A2 that you're gonna see. Spirit Flags, booked up to 100, down to 4 turns, has a chance of placing block buffs if she steals any debuff, okay? Really important, if she steals any debuffs, she's gonna place block buffs. If there are no buffs on the opposing target in the arena, most importantly, she's not gonna place block buffs. Now, the other good thing is that she fills the turn meter of all allies by 15% and places a 50% increase accuracy and a 30% increase speed. That's godsend, okay? Imagine that you have someone that you want to strip off all their abilities, like in Madame series, okay? You have a 500 series, then you do a 50% increase accuracy. There are few teams that are gonna resist that series, okay? Which has increased accuracy buff. She's also giving a 30% increased speed, which makes your entire team move faster and fills the turn meter by 15%. So that's kind of like a Gorgora old used buff. So all in one scenario, really, really good in arena, really, really good in arena. And Hydra, okay? She's a Hydra material as well. She is really used in Hydra. More specifically, because of that. Attacks all enemies has a 100% chance, booked down to 3 turns, of placing decreased accuracy, really nice, and 30% decreased speed on all enemy for 2 turns. Also has a 75% booked up to 100 to decrease each target's turn meter by 15%. That doesn't work for bosses, sadly, but for arena it's super nice, okay? Decreased speed, decreased accuracy if they leave for the second go, although they shouldn't. Super cool. A1 attacks one enemy, then attacks the enemy with the highest turn meter. And C will attack the same enemy twice if the initial target also has the highest turn meter. The second hit has a 60% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 15%. Come on, Plarium. 30% has pretty much Armiger. You could just do something a little bit better. But she's already a broken champion, so S-tier champion for sure. Arena for arena pretty much, and Hydra. Really, really strong. Now, my personal favorite, and I got him a while ago. I was so happy when I got him. Krisk, the Ageless, okay? Any scenario that you want to place him, except arena maybe, he's an A tier in arena. Any scenario that you want to place him, clan boss, Hydra, Doom Tower, dungeons, anything that you put this little big turtle in, he's gonna wreck it, and he's gonna wreck it with a big stomp. Now, passive, Might of Ages, place a sealed buff on all allies for 2 turns equal to 50% of this champion's max HP. This can be exploited with sealed sets and pretty much his own seal, so you're double dipping into that, so you get bigger seals. 75% chance of placing 60% decreased defense and 50% decreased attack on the attacker for 1 turn when hit. Booked up to 100. So that's a guaranteed decreased defense and 50% decreased attack when you get hit. So if you place that big boy second in the arena and the opposing team is attacking you, your number 3 and number 4 champions are gonna take reduced damage because of this effect going on, okay? He's placing 50% decreased attack, your champions take less damage. That's super cool. Also the big shield helps as well. Provoke debuff on all enemies for 1 turn, useful for Hydra. I think he's one of the only ones of the few ones that are used in all the scenarios of Hydra, and really cool to have Provoke with the changes that they did for Hydra. Place a 60% increased debuff on this champion for 2 turns, and 30% increased speed on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. That's super cool, okay? He speeds up your entire team and gives 60% increased defense on him. Now, this is booked down to 3 turns. A2 attacks all enemies, place a 50% ally protection buff on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. His main ability, main skill, one of the main skills. 2 continuous heal buffs on himself, and increase the durations of all ally buffs by 1 turn. He used to be in teams that they kept going and going, infinity teams, okay? Sorry, I forgot the name of them. He used to be used in infinity teams, and he's still there, okay? He's still clan boss material. But right now he's kind of more towards Hydra. People use him more towards Hydra because of the unkillable teams that there are out there, and you can do a lot of damage with unkillable teams right now. You don't actually need, unless you want to prove something to yourself, to build an infinity team. Really useful, down to 3 turns, and if he build it silly, like I think that Murdering has done a video with him being silly in a Savage gear, he was hitting quite well with it. He was hitting quite well. On day 1, attacks all enemies, and he's one of the 2 champions only that places 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns on his A1. The other one is Mother Cybele, so that's super cool, okay? 30% chance booked up to 50% chance of placing 30% debuff, decreased speed debuff is super cool. Counterattacking all the time, for example. He's super useful, top-notch champion right there. S tier for any content, A tier for arena. Now, let's go into the other 2 parts. So, on Sunday, July the 3rd, we're planning to launch another 10x event to summon the following champions from Ancient, Sacreds, and Voids. Necrot the Great, Duchess Lily2, Lisandra, Seer, Hugo, and Stagnite. So, let's go and see these. Where is Stagnite? I think he's Sacred Order, I can't remember. Nope, Stagnite is Bannerlords. My goodness, man. Okay, so we have an amazing champion. He used to be in the first battle pass that they had. Sadly, they haven't done a battle pass that they said they were gonna do, but they kept giving us those forge passes, which like only a few people buy. Anyway, skipping through all of that. Stagnite, super useful, only 2 abilities, support champion with high base defense and decent speed, 107. On his A1, decreased speed on 1 target, he hits him for 2 times, really cool, booked up to 50%, super nice. On A2, booked up to 100, down to 3 turns, 100% chance of placing decreased defense and decreased attack debuff. He can be used on so many scenarios. Clan boss teams, if you time it right. Hydra teams, yes, he can. Doom Tower, yes, he can. Anywhere that you place him, even for some arena scenarios, low arena scenarios, you can actually use him. He's not the best there, but he can be used there if you're just starting and you have picked him up. Fire Knight, where he excels, he's super nice there. I kinda used him for a long time. So, not a bad champion overall, an A tier champion for sure. 50% increased accuracy buff on ally for 1 turn each time the ally has a debuff resisted by an enemy. That's kinda nice. It increases your accuracy in case you are not gonna be landing any debuffs. Now, the second one on the list is Hugo. Hugo got her value scale to the heavens as soon as Hydra came out. She became like super good. You can see her used in nightmare teams, all from normal all the way to nightmare. Many people keep using Hugo because of her kit saying that she's based either on attack, or people think that, oh, she's a supporter, go with defense. Yeah, that's wrong. Pretty much what you want to do with Hugo is, because her A3 heals, you kind of want to bump her HP a lot. Anyway, let's see the stats. High defense 1.255, decent speed 1.2, and a little bit accuracy to start, 15%. And so her passive is 30% increased speed and a block damage buff whenever she's the last one remaining. So she's gonna revive, if you haven't used the A3, she's gonna revive the entire enemy team. That's super cool if you run her in arena. There are teams that are using her still, but she's outpaced pretty much a long time ago. Now her A3 removes all hero reduction debuff from all allies, then removes 1 random debuff from all allies, and heals them, this is the good part, by 20% of this champion max HP. What do we love? When we have a champion that is doing something and it's based on his defense or his HP, we can just bombard that stat and just get it up to the heavens, and then we get big heals, big shields like the one from Valkyrie, for example, and stuff like that. And this is the skill that if all allies are dead and she remains the last one standing, she pretty much revives all of them with 50% HP and 50% turn meter. Her A2, booked down to 3 turns, booked up to 100% chance, placing decreased defense, super cool, and block debuffs for 2 turns. The chance of placing the block buffs debuff increased by 5% for each alive enemy. That's because it's only 75%, so if you're facing like a Hydra, you get 95% of placing block debuffs for 2 turns. If you're facing an arena team, you got 95% chance of placing block debuffs on the enemy team. So that's super cool, okay? Super cool. So as long as they are alive, you got a 95% chance of placing your buffs. Now, she can be used in arena in, let's say that you're about to face a Skullcrown. Go ahead and you do that. Skullcrown cannot place Unkillable on herself. Or a Leorius. Boom. Leorius cannot seal himself. Or Swift Parry scenarios that this gear was so annoying. You go in, do this, Swift Parry, bye-bye. She goes in and destroys that team. Super cool. And decreased defense, okay? So that's quite nice. Her speed is actually helping her to do that. Now on her A1, attacks one enemy, 35% chance of placing Leaks debuff for 2 turns. The chance increases by 5% for each alive enemy. So pretty much Hydra, 4 champions, 25%, so 20%, so 55% chance of placing leads for 2 turns. Not bad. She can also be used in clan boss because of the leads, but not highly recommended. There are better choices there, but she can still work in there. Now, the next one is Seer, Doom Tower Goddesses. Who doesn't know Seer? If you don't have a Seer, pull for Seer. The only champion that does that thing. Ally resist 40%. Her main stats matter nothing, pretty much. Good speed, 104. What do you want from her? It's this one. Karma Burn, the strongest ability, the strongest hitting ability in the game, okay? There's nothing else hitting anywhere near the damage that this thing is doing. So, she removes all buffs from all allies and enemies, then attacks all enemies. Damage increase according to the number of buffs removed, pretty much. So she strips off both your team and the enemy teams, and she deals damage with that if they're buffed up. 50% chance of placing sleep debuff on all enemies. That needs a little bit of accuracy to land, and the chance of placing sleep debuff increases by 5% for each buff removed. So that kind of does has more chances of landing. Book down to 4 turns. Use her in any dungeon with a Renegade, if you don't have a Kymar, with a Kymar, or with Painkeeper, and she's gonna be useful, super useful. She's gonna be clearing the ways for you super fast, because that damage is based on enemy max HP, and it hits like a truck, okay? It hits like a truck. Like if you have a Seer, Doom Tower, easy. Dungeons, easy. Except Spider, where Spider is kind of need burns. The only place that she's not the best is pretty much Hydra and Clan Boss, because unless you want to fool around, she's not for those places, okay? Increase crit rate on all allies for 2 turns and a weekend on her A2, 3 turns cooldown, and her A1 has a 50% chance booked up to 20 to grant an extra turn. If you don't have her, pull for her. She's a game changer, an account changer immediately. The next 3 are Lisandra. She's quite useful. Used to be really good. Right now she's kind of fading away. Increase speed in all battles by 24%, 30% increase speed, and fills the turn meter of all allies by 30%, and decrease the enemy turn meter by 30%, down to 4 turn CD. She fully depletes the turn meter, but there are so many champions that can do that. For example, Coldheart, and she's not a Lego, although she could be a Lego. Geomancer fully depletes the turn meter. Now her A1 is really cool for opposing Gaius teams or any teams that are transferring debuffs to you. You can troll Gaius teams and just transfer the bombs back to them, which is super cool. she's still useful, okay? And her base speed is 110, so she's still right there. So if you don't have an arbiter, she's really cool. You can really use her and build up your team. Her aura is allowing you to. A tier champ for sure right now, not an S tier champ, sadly. Now the other two are both S tier champs, and I'm gonna start with the arena first guy, and then I'm gonna go to the one that I really wanna get. So Undead Hordes, Necrot. Necrot is kind of the arena meta, in the arena meta right now, okay? What can you say about this guy? Ally resist 60% in all battles. Block debuffs, 25% strengthen, and an ally protection that lasts 6 turns. And the other two buffs are lasting 3 turns on one ally. So how you build that is pretty much your lowest HP will get that buff. So you place your nuker with the lowest HP of your entire team, and he immediately goes and gets that buff. So he's protected. There you go, immunity gear and a big fat shield in front of him. Boom, super nice. Whenever an ally is attacked while under an ally protection buff, place a shield buff on the ally, equal to 30% of this champion max HP for 2 turns. What did we said before? We love champions with that are based on their stat. So you build him up with a lot of HP, and he builds up a big seal, okay? Occurs only if the ally does not already have a shield buff placed by this champion. Also decrease the cooldown of this champion Legion of the Damned skill by 2 turns if the shield buff is placed. So, what's the Legion of the Damned? Pretty much it's kind of like an ally attack under situations. So, on whoever he is placing ally protection buff, he's just forcing them to attack the enemy. That kind of takes turns. It used to be quite, it sounded that when he first came out, it sounded that it was something, oh, super cool, we're gonna have another ally attacker, but it wasn't what it was intended, but it's still useful, okay? And he gets an extra turn if no enemies are killed during this attack, so that's quite nice. Arena meta, right there, okay? Top arena teams, you're gonna see Necrot, +2, +3, +4, you're gonna see him there. Attacks one enemy 3 times, each hit has a 20% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack debuff for 1 turn. This effect cannot be resisted. You don't need accuracy on him. You don't need accuracy on him, okay? So that's super cool. No accuracy, place a decrease attack. There you go. So you just build him with high HP, decent defense, and that's it. Stone Skin gear, oh yeah. So many people are using him in Stone Skin. Meta champion right there, super cool. And my personal favorite, and I'm hunting her for so long, wish me luck, I'm definitely gonna be pulling, Duchess Lily too. Guys, what can you say about this champion? Like, she's amazing, flat out. Like, look at the skin. She looks gorgeous, okay? She looks gorgeous, look at that. Now, let's go a little bit and look at her kits. Base speed 103, decent speed, really good defense, and really good HP. Aura, 90% increased speed in all battles, super cool. Now her passive is kind of unique in the game. Decreases the damage taken by all allies by AoE by 25%. In arena, this is heaven. 15% from bosses. Yes, it can be used on boss fights, Hydra, dungeons, anywhere you place her, boom, she's there. She's kind of outpassing Krisk in scenarios of utility and where she can be used and where she cannot. But pretty much for Nightmare, you kind of want both of them. Or I would prefer to have Krisk for Nightmare Hydra if I'm starting with that. But overall, S tier champion, okay? S tier champion. Spectral Rebirth, book down to 4 turns. Revives all dead allies with 70% HP. Super cool. Place HP avail on all allies except this champion for 1 turn. Place a 50% continuous heal on all allies for 2 turns. Super nice, okay? Super nice. Place a block debuffs and 50% increase attack buff on all allies for 2 turns and a perfect veil on all of them. So imagine that. in Arena, you place block debuffs, increase attack, and perfect veil. So they can't attack you. So the only champion that they can attack is her. Super cool. She's used with Cantraphone. She excels with Cantraphone. She's like the enable of Cantraphone. She's so cool at that. Hydra? Yes, please. What? Veil? Nope. Bye-bye, Veil. Bye-bye, Fearhead. We have Veil, pretty much. Super cool. And here A1 attacks one enemy 2 times, then places seal buff equal to 10% of this champion max HP. What did we said? We love that. And for 2 turns on this champion and the ally with the lowest HP. So she places 2 shields. There were Scarab teams that used Duchess Lily to just, you know, duel the boss. Still used. Super cool. Top draw champion, guys. S tier champion right there, and amazing looking. Look at her, like I cannot stop looking at her, like she's so cool. Anyway, guys, this was the video for today. So leave on the note on for who you're gonna be pulling this weekend. Are you gonna go for Krisk and his team, or are you gonna for Necrot and Duchess Lily 2's team? I'm definitely gonna go for Sunday, because I really want either a Necrot or a Duchess. I've been hunting them for so long. But it's gonna be a fun weekend, guys. It's gonna be a fun weekend. 10x, yes, I know we don't usually say people to pull at 10x's because you kind of want to pull on 2x's. But if you're tired of pulling as they are being used to us, every 2x we get repetitive summons, fusions, and all of those. Like every 2x you see so many fusion popping up. So if you want someone specifically, this is the time to go, okay? 10x and Guillotine champions are the way to go for you, my friend. So it was Rethus. It was so nice talking to you all today. Thanks everyone. Subscribe to my channel if you like my videos, and be sure to check out my Pimp My Duchess video, which I'm gonna be having at the link right up here somewhere. I don't know where is it posting. Thanks everybody. Stay safe. Bye.